Well, would you look at that? It looks like FGO wasn't satisfied and only giving us the Olga fight today. They decided they would drop a banger announcement that Witch of the Holy Night is going to be getting a collab event in late April, which means we could be seeing this in as little as a week and at most maybe 2 weeks, which I think is a little bit ridiculous because a lot of people are, already counting out that we probably wouldn't get another collab event this year. I was holding out a little bit of hope because they do these collab events during the Golden Week, period for Japan. Because if you don't know, Golden Week is like a big holiday where you're supposed to like spend a bunch of money over there. So all the gacha games usually do some big character coming out. I think Genshin is finally dropping Arlecino, who I understand is a very popular character. I guess it's not technically on brand, but Star Rail also just dropped Acheron, who's like a very big character over there. And so now we're going to be getting our collab event, which is going to be Witch of the Holy Night, which I was suspecting that it was either going to be this or the Tsukihime event, which technically, because Witch of the Holy Night does have some tie-ins with Tsukihime, you have Witch of the Holy Night, and then a lot of the characters then appear as more legacy characters in Tsukihime. So I guess this is a way that you can kind of get both of them integrated into the game before actually doing the Tsukihime collab, which one thing that I'm kind of game theorying right now is that they're not going to do the Tsukihime collab until people in the West at least also get their hands on the Tsukihime VN remake, which I think is later on this year because we just got this VN remake, stateside over here in December, I believe. And we're still waiting on the Tsukihime one, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm assuming they're going to wait for that to happen so they don't have a CCC situation where with Fate CCC, the reason they were a little apprehensive of doing the collab was we don't know if people in the West will really get it because they never got CCC. And then they're like, we're just going to translate everything and make sure that they can also take part in this event. But one of the things that I'm really excited for is, not just Aoko, but one of the things that really bothered me about 2 years ago is that they dropped Archetype Earth, Arcoid, whatever you want to call her. They dropped her and haven't used her for anything story relevant, which I don't like, because I don't think FGO really drops random characters as bait. They usually incorporate them into the lore, or they incorporate them into the story in some meaningful way. There's very rarely servants that really don't do anything. Even look at Benkei, like a random guy that nobody would probably pay attention to. He even gets his moment in Babylonia, right? Pretty much everybody gets to do something cool. Spartacus. My dude gets to take out a meteor in Lost Belt 3. Everybody gets to kind of shine in some capacity, right? Like, everybody does end up getting their moment. And it's so weird because Arcoid is so popular. She's so popular that she appears in the Fate Extra games as a berserker, right? Like, she sneaks into technically another Type Moon property as a cameo just because people really like her. And so the fact that she really hasn't been used outside of maybe a technicality that I really don't consider an actual real appearance for her in a future FGO story that I won't spoil for my NA only people, but the fact that she hasn't done anything is really baffling, right? It's almost as weird as when they dropped, Cast Story for the first time, but at least a year later, Lost Belt 6 came out. I was like, oh, okay, you were just preparing us for Lost Belt 6. You just wanted to get this character out early, but she really hasn't done anything. So I'm really hoping that they will throw her into the event and either Arcoid, Archetype Earth, whatever, will be able to do something story relevant. I'm really, really hoping that we will finally get that, because again, I don't like these bait ideas for these characters of just dropping a character just because they're popular, but then not using them in story or lore at all. I am also hoping, as much as I do like the Archetype Earth actual fit, I hope we will actually just get the original fit, because I think the drip is iconic, so I really hope that we get that as a costume. And seeing as how they're rolling a lot of stuff out over on JP, maybe that can happen. Although, as of me recording this video, we haven't gotten the high school outfits for, like Jalter and them. So, I don't know, maybe they're a little holding back on costumes. But come on, this is a big collab event. You should bring out the big guns. Give us the costumes. Bring out all that stuff. So I'm hoping that we get that. This is the thing that I'm actually most excited for, is them finally using Arcoid in an actual story relevant capacity. Now, as far as characters that I think that we're going to be able to get, I think the most free is Aoko, I think for free we're going to be getting her. I think it'll probably be like first ascension's normal, third final ascension will probably be her with like the full like red hair, the fifth magic form where she's like the embodiment of magic or whatnot. I think that is pretty free. I mean, if we don't get Aoko, biggest blunder of 2024. So I think it's pretty obvious. I think we will be getting Aoko. What I think is cope on my part is us getting her older sister. Because if we're really going to go into the whole, you know, interweaving of Witch of the Holy Night and Tsukihime, I think the sister is also really important for that. Again, not to get into too many story bits, but they're both fairly relevant in Tsukihime as their legacy characters, and so I'm hoping that we can see both of them appear. Aoko, I think, is pretty given, and then Aozaki, you know, her older sister, I think, maybe not as free, but if you want someone that's going to be an antagonist for Aoko, I think you could definitely bring in her sister and have her be maybe one of the more villainous people during the event. I think you could also go numerous different ways in just having, say, Aozaki team up with, say, an FGO villain or something. You know, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, and I'm kind of over us using demon pillars as enemies, but, you know, that kind of deal, where it's like, you know, Kiara uses the demon pillars in the CCC event. Something along those lines, I think, could go pretty well for Aozaki. I just don't know what they would want to use for them. It's not like we have, I mean, a whole bunch of like dead apostle guys running around, so it's really weird to think like who they would use. And people like Doman, who, you know, are nefarious characters, or Cagliostro, who's, you know, are one of our more nefarious characters, they're kind of already done. Like, we just already got their stuff done. You know, 5.5 pretty much finished Doman, plus Summer 7, I believe it was, also finished Doman, and we just got Cagliostro, so I don't think he's gonna immediately start bugging out or anything. So maybe it's a little bit of cope on my part. Maybe. I really hope we do get it. I think getting the dude, I think this is also pretty viable. We might be able to get this as one of the protagonists, you know, from Witch of the Holy Night. I think that kind of makes sense. I'm really praying that Aoko will be the free-to-play, but I just think that is massive cope on my part. They are definitely going to make us summon for Aoko. But then again, they didn't make us summon for Iori. You know, Iori was free for the Samurai Remnant collab, so maybe they toss us an Aoko. Maybe normal Aoko is the free-to-play, kind of like Shiki, but then, you know, Void Shiki, that, you know, the 5th Magic Aoko, that's the summonable one. Maybe that's the kind of cope that we can run with. I'm not really sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. There are a ton of characters that we could get from Witch of the Holy Night, but, you know, these are just kind of the ones that I'm thinking are to be expected, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Archetype Earth got another raid up and then was also relevant to the story. You know, we got maybe a free-to-play Aoko and a summonable one, again, kind of like Shiki, and then I would really like to see Aoko's sister appear in kind of a nefarious capacity. But I'll tell you what, I'll be definitely on the lookout for the translations for this as they come out, because I'm definitely very, very excited to give this one a read. And I don't know if I can wait 2 years to read it. So yeah, leave your predictions in the comments down below. As always, leave a like, subscribe, come out to stream later today. And with all that being said, bye!